Okay, we're recording. Good morning. I mean, good afternoon. I don't know what it is. Hello. Welcome to the
Hello.
Soul's Kitchen podcast. I'm so happy to welcome Anne Lebans of Anne Ellen Sound. She is an intuitive sound healer and, according to your own words, Anne, I'm going to say it,
Do it.
vocal alchemist. I love
Yeah.
that. Yes. So welcome.
Thanks so much, Lisa. This is
Well,
awesome.
yeah, it is awesome. So I want to talk about. I'm talking to people or having conversations with people who are following their soul's desire or purpose. And you are an intuitive sound healer. And I know I met you. Well, I've known you for a long time. Of course, Fredericton. We're in New Brunswick. Who knows where this will reach? But we're in Canada. We've small town, so I've known you for years. And I remember being in a yoga class with you. I think it was Natalie Brewer that was doing the yoga class. And at the end of the class, I think you were singing. And I was on the other side of the class and I thought, who is that? Who's singing? And it was
Aw.
you and it was beautiful. And then from there, I've gone on to do some sound healing with you where you use your voice, which is amazing. So let's start. How did this all come about for you?
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I remember that class. That was a beautiful dance class. We
It
were
was a dance
dancing
class.
through
That's
the
what it was.
chakras.
Okay.
It was,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
And
that was
and
so
and it
fun.
was, yeah, it was so powerful. Uh how this came to be, I suppose, is I just grew up singing. I was in classical music,
Mhm.
and from a very early age, I didn't like singing other people's words.
Right. Okay.
So I was like overly aware of if I was singing. So I grew up singing opera,
Mm.
which felt really good to my voice. I love the big high notes, especially. There's something so amazing about like a pure high note. It just feels so
Mhm.
soul cleansing to me. And I always loved them, but I didn't like singing words I didn't understand or about things that weren't relevant. And I felt like I was supposed to be singing my own words.
Okay.
Yeah. So after school, where I studied psychology and a lot of travel, a lot of soul searching, I've always been very curious and intuitive, and I wanted to really trust my intuition and let it guide me. So I
Mm.
studied a lot of different things that made sense to me, yoga or a lot of like Reiki and energy healing. And throughout my own healing process, I noticed my body was giving me cues to sing often, especially if I was in a bad experience, if I was feeling depressed, if I was feeling stuck. I remember actually one day going through a really hard time. It was a really bad breakup that I had initiated that I regretted. The person was not coming back. It was like a really hopeless,
Mm.
sad feeling. And I'd never been that low, and I didn't really know how to get out of it. And all of a sudden, and I believe very much that the universe is talking to us all the time. It's just about
Mhm.
listening.
Mhm.
A little post-it that I had on my wall that said just sing, it like floated down onto me. And it
Really?
landed on my lap, and I just looked at it and I was like, okay, all right. And played around, let myself sing a bit, and I noticed, okay, you know, everyone knows that singing makes you feel better. So I was like, there's nothing
Mhm.
crazy about this. Like we sing in the shower, we sing in the car, whatever.
Right.
Um, but there was something there. And then later I was doing a ceremony. I was doing some work and guided by a shaman to heal some really old, painful things. And at one point, I was just really aware that to get out of my own head, to get out of my own way, I just had to sing. And the second I did that, it was like I remembered the power of toning, of singing, of how music takes the present moment and changes its frequency in just that second. Like you can be low and you sing a
That
frequency and it brings you up.
that's amazing. Not that it matters, and I don't know why, but do you mind telling me how old you were when you just realized what you just said?
Of course, thanks for asking. Yeah, it wasn't long ago. It was probably 2018. So
Wow.
it's
Okay.
2025. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my
And
goodness.
actually, growing up, I didn't love my voice. I didn't understand my voice. I didn't understand why people wanted me to sing a certain way. It was a really big point of
Mm.
pride for my family, for my community. They really thought I had a
Right.
good voice. And when
Mm-hmm.
I decided not to pursue um, opera school, for example, after my
Mm-hmm.
first undergrad, it threw a lot of people for a loop, and I felt really confused. And so during that ceremony, I was almost like reconnected with my voice in a way where I understood why I wanted what I wanted with it. And I understood the power that a voice has, not just my voice, but any voice can change the frequency of a moment just through
That
making it the sound.
mm. I just had goosebumps, honestly. Like just thinking, even when you're feeling low and you're, just think about using it in a real life situations, right? So you can even just hum to yourself, or yeah. Anyway, sorry. I just
But
sort
Lisa,
of
that's such a good point. That's such a good
yeah,
point
just
because
sort of like to elevate your mood or your frequency. That is so good.
and you're hitting the nail on the head because we just do it, right? We just do it. We
We
do it without even
do it,
thinking
but
about it.
we do. And but we do, but then some people don't. Like I'm thinking when you
Yep.
talk about healing, wanting and even not really quite coming into your voice yet. Like you had this talent your whole life. Everyone thought, "Oh, she's going to do this." And you thought, "No, that's not what I'm going to do." And then fast forward or not fast forward to 2018 where you figure out a different way that you're going to use your voice for healing. I mean, that
Right.
is so, you know, so timely, just before the pandemic, right? Where, anyway, don't want to go down that road, but, or maybe we
But
do,
you're
but maybe
right.
after. But it's like a different way. Basically, you're discovering a different way to live, like not just
Yeah.
singing opera, but using your voice. This is your soul's purpose. This is,
Hmm.
to
Totally.
come back to the whole point of my wanting to do this podcast. So this is so exciting.
Well,
So,
and thank you for framing it like that. You made me realize and remember that the soul's purpose is something I understood in that ceremony, especially as it meant as it connected with me and my voice.
mm,
Um, it's something that you're here to offer. It's a
mm,
service. It's
mhm,
something that you were gifted. And I know when I'm singing, it's not just me singing.
mm. That's
And
interesting.
it's powerful to realize
Mm,
just how in fact, the term sound healer, I don't actually align with anymore. It doesn't feel
okay.
real. I feel just I facilitate people to heal themselves through sound. They
Well,
heal
and that's
themselves.
what happens. Like a lot of people don't realize it. When you go to a healer, even a massage therapist, I mean, they're all wonderful, don't get me wrong, but they are facilitating something within you, like that can actually, light the way or for the healing.
Totally.
And I think a lot of people aren't, like you said, when you said before about listening, a lot of people are
Hmm.
missing the messages, like that note or that post-it note
Hmm.
falling down the sky. It's like that, that story. And I don't know it exactly, but the guy, I don't know, he's out in the ocean or something. He's drowning and he asks God for help. And then God sends a helicopter or something. And whatever, he goes away and he keeps asking God for help, and God sends like a boat or a raft or whatever, and then the guy finally drowns and gets up to heaven and said, God, why didn't you help me? And God goes, well, I sent you a boat and a helicopter. And so
Yeah.
that kind of thing, like people are getting messages, but they might not know that it's a message.
And they might not, if you're asking a question to the
Hmm.
universe, you are getting an answer. And you might not be
Mm,
expecting one, so you're not looking. And B, you might get it and it might seem, whoa, I don't know how to act on that. I'm not maybe like
right.
actually following through on the answer is hard too.
Yeah, it is. It
So
is.
it's so cool. It's such a I want to just share something so cool when
Please.
you lean into your intuition and trust that the answers you're getting and trust that you're always in kind of a dialogue, a
Hmm.
dance with life because you are life. You can't
Hmm.
separate yourself from it.
Hmm.
I remember one time, and actually, I was offering a workshop about sound and how we can use our own voices to help ourselves heal, to help ourselves feel, and to move energy and emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a gentleman who came to the workshop, and he was from somewhere like 3 hours away, um, up north in New Brunswick. And he had just moved there from the States. Anyway, he had a dream the day before he contacted myself and Wendy, the lady that I was doing the workshop with and will be again. And in his dream, two ladies who were Wendy and I, we showed up in his dream, were helping him
Mm.
tune his motorcycle to the right frequency so it would work effectively.
Mm.
And he'd been
Wow.
asking for help to how to become more aligned with who he truly is.
Interesting.
And so he woke up and was like, what?
What
And
was that?
then what was that? And then he saw our our event, and he recognized our faces from his dream. And when he read the description of learning how to use frequency and learning how to use your own energy
Mm.
to become more aligned with yourself and what you're here to do and just your true nature,
Yeah.
he came.
And sometimes, this is something that I've learned recently, you don't have to know the end result. I think so many people get
Mm,
caught on what is it going to look like? What is that going to be? And you
yeah.
don't have to know that. But if you're trust enough to just follow the little steps, whatever that call is, and then to be happy, like on the journey, not waiting for
Mm,
that specific end result. Can we share what
mm.
happened to us today before we were doing this podcast? Is
Yeah,
that okay to
totally.
share?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
because that was another one of those sort of moments, and I was really, really impressed. Um, so for those of you, we were connecting, but Anne's headphones weren't working. So she was trying to fix it in the moment, and she said, "Just give me a moment." Or do you want to tell it? Do you want to tell?
Oh, I mean, sure.
Yeah.
And if I missed the point or a point you're trying to make, definitely come back in with it, because I'm
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the sense that there was something that was not allowing the connection, but it was something that was energetic, and it felt like initially like there was a part of me that didn't want to talk about some of this, or there was part of this that felt really
Mm.
scary to a part of me.
Mhm.
Um, and since I've started cultivating my relationship with myself, learning how I receive information and images is
Mm.
different than other people do. And it's taken me a very long time to get to an understanding of how that works for me. But I was getting some images and some signs of this part of me that wants to be brave, but is really scared. And so what I do to work with myself in that situation is I ask that part, I honor that part, I see it, I'm there with it, and then I ask it what it needs. And often it needs one of two things: me to sing because it's
Mhm.
comforting,
Mhm.
and because the singing moves the fear. It's just that energy and motion, emotion. We're just
Right.
moving through it. Or it
Energy
gets
motion.
me to
Yes.
energy and motion, or
Yes.
it gets me to dance, which is the same thing. And you mentioned that you were dancing too.
Well, yeah, so I watched Anne sing, and I was just in amazement, because then I said to her, I said to you, I said, "You're not just a sound healer, you're an intuitive sound healer, and you use your voice in that way." I didn't know that before
Mm,
today. So that was so impressive to sort of watch it in actual live as it was happening. And we were still struggling, or you were struggling. Well, you weren't struggling, but the sound equipment was
yeah,
struggling.
there
And
was
we
a
said,
disconnect. Yeah.
if we had some time, so we said, let's go away for 30 minutes and we'll come back. So yes, in that 30 minutes, you were doing your thing, and then I
Mhm.
put on some music and I was dancing, because I thought maybe I need to ground myself, because we had talked about the full moon that's just happening
Mhm.
and how energy has been shifting, and I've been feeling really ungrounded and clumsy,
Mm.
and technology wasn't always really working, and so that I needed to do that. So I did. I danced for that half an hour. So here we are. I
We
think
raised our vibration
we
to a
raised
place where, yeah,
and we're fully here. I think
yeah,
feel like we're both fully here. We're
totally.
and it's working, so it's amazing.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I love how that
Yeah,
works. It's often too. It's that kind of like, if something's not working, what's the reason?
right. And what do
And
most people do? They get
right,
angry,
that's
right?
it. That's it. And what's in that question? Right? What's the information here? Is
Right.
helpful because it. I'm learning through, as you said, the intuitive piece, to
Mm,
really honor if I don't know, in this case, it was like honoring the sensitivity and honoring that a lot of people, not just myself, and I'm picking up on that as well. A lot of people, not
Mhm.
just myself, have had real fear and trauma surrounding their voice,
Mhm. Mhm.
surrounding saying what they need to say, the safety to do that. In some cases, that gets people hurt and worse.
Right. Like speaking, just even a lot of people are even afraid to speak the truth. So
Yeah.
when you think of your throat chakra, and I mean what you do with help people with singing, I mean that is directly related. Not only just the singing, but there's do you know technically what's happening? I mean with the vibration there or how it's actually clearing, you know, some trauma?
Um,
Can you speak to
right,
that or
right. Sure, I can try because I know it's not always, and is very actually seldom like a straight shot, like one
yeah,
emotion in
for
the
sure.
way or one memory. Often it's a lot that's kind of going on in the body, in the physical body, in the energy, in the emotional body.
Mhm.
There's memories from past experiences, this life and others. So what I know about sound, when I am led to make it, which I have to be clear, I have to be led to make it, because if I want to, and it's not
Mhm.
time, if it's time for silence and integration, my voice doesn't make
Mhm.
sound. I go, and
Okay.
if you watch me during a sound bath where I'm singing and following whatever needs to happen,
Mhm.
if it's time to be quiet, it's time to be quiet. So I have to listen. Um, but okay, and I went off my train of thought.
No, it's
One
okay.
second,
It's all
please.
good. No, no, it's good. No, that's
Ah,
amazing. It's so cool that you are you I mean, I love this. Yeah.
it's so fun to talk about too, and I think a lot of people connect with a lot of it. I think a lot of people also have felt like there was something blocking them for speaking their truth, for singing when they want to
Mhm.
sing, for just being brave and confident in who they are and using their
Mhm.
voice however. And I guess to the tune of what I was saying, it's like in my experience, which I can speak to, if I'm working on myself, I will ask my heart, myself, what I need, what tones it needs, and I will then just follow it and make the
Mhm.
sounds. And if I don't know, I'll start somewhere and then eventually end up where
You
I'm supposed to. That
right.
always happens. It always works. It's kind of getting out of your own way, a
Mhm.
way to do that. But when I'm in a group, and if there are people in front of me who are here for this sound, um, there's a lot going on. So while my throat chakra is open and I'm facilitating, and again, there's energy coming through, I'm channeling often. Um, they could be feeling various things. They may feel and notice a change in their throat. They may
Mhm.
feel a change in their heart. They may feel memories. They may get information or an answer or see imagery. Um, so I suppose what I'm trying to say is it's not just connected to the throat. It's like the sound can release you to be your most authentic self, but it's also healing you, your cells, your body. It's putting you back in alignment. It's going to do it in kind of the
Mhm.
way it needs to too. It's it can be very
Yeah,
layered.
but well, because sound is also a vibration, so that
Mm,
vibration is gonna go through your body,
yeah,
not
exactly.
just and then vibrate out as well into the
Right.
universe
It
or
goes,
the mm,
well, that's it. It goes in, and your body its intelligence in a relaxed state knows what to do with it, knows where it to guide it, knows it and your body know what to do.
right, and I think you just said something important there when you're in a relaxed state. So
Mm,
it's getting to that state where
hmm.
to allow those things to happen,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
to
And
because
that
they
isn't
will
easy
happen.
for
You don't
some.
even have to do
Yeah.
anything. All you have to do is get into a relaxed state, and then through various
Yeah.
ways, like sound healing can be one of them,
Yeah.
singing, dancing, yoga, anything kinda that
Right.
would
You're
get
so right.
you yeah. Well, I don't wanna
Let
be
your
vague,
body kind
but
of take over again. Well, I mean, you're what you're
well,
saying is
yeah,
super applicable because it's that bigger reminder. Exactly. It's not just sound, it's anything that speaks to your soul and that brings you peace.
right.
I want to talk to people who typically find sound beneficial can be
Mm-hmm.
those like me
Mm-hmm.
who their head is really active. They get in their own way. Thoughts
Mm-hmm.
are, maybe they have an active brain, analytical brain,
Yeah.
hard to meditate, hard to do yoga, hard to turn it
Mm-hmm.
off. And
Yeah, I'm one of those
what
people. That's why I think like a movement meditation works better for
mm,
me. And so
exactly.
probably
That's
for a lot of
awesome.
people. Probably for a lot of
Yep.
people. But
And
yes,
it's so, I
sorry,
think
keep going.
I'm so sorry because I'm so interrupting
No,
right now because I'm getting
no,
so
I'm
excited.
interrupting. I interrupted you. I'm excited. No, it's good. I want you to keep going down that path. I'm sorry.
Oh no, all
Yeah.
great, all great. This is good. This is good. The yeah, the people who tend to, for whatever reason, have active minds, which I think it's because there's a part of us that needed to think more because it was safer to do that at some point. It's just, it's nothing
Mhm.
wrong. It's just that we have extra pattern to do that where other people may have different patterns. And a lot of us do live from the neck up today in society. We're
Yeah,
not as connected to our body, to
for
nature.
sure.
So yeah, so what I find really powerful about sound is the thing you said, which was you don't have to do anything, it does the work.
Mhm.
You just experience it. You don't even have to be like, if you're in the in your in if you're in the area, you're going to be worked on. The vibration's going to reach you. It's going to do what it
Mhm.
does. It's energy. And also, if you're someone who needs help to get behind the mind, sound is a great way to do that because you focus. You're focusing on the
Right.
sound. Your mind has somewhere to go,
Yes, that's so true.
and like an anchor.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, it is.
Mm.
And even I'm just thinking as you were saying, because I remember I did another vocal workshop with you. That was really fun. It was on Zoom. Remember when we were just all the sound?
Totally.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And just the breathing that you have to do before you kind of sing,
Mm.
or the breathing
Mm.
you do when you sing, even though you don't even know that you're doing it. Because of course, the more you
Hmm.
breathe, the deeper or longer sound you can make. So it's, and again, you don't even know you're doing it, but you're relaxing your body. Um,
Very good point. Yeah.
yeah. So for people, I'm just thinking like I think there's a big healing movement going on right now. Do you think so? Do you
Oh
agree?
yeah.
What
Oh
do you
yeah.
why do you think that's happening? Because all of these modalities, and I
Yeah.
think they were already there before, but it seems like they're all being taken more seriously. I know you said you were doing a counseling degree, if you don't mind me sharing that,
Yeah. Of
so that
course.
your sound healing would have a little bit more of a legitimate um, platform
More
for
accessible.
more accessible
Yeah.
for
Be more
those, like you said,
accessible.
people who need to see the piece of paper, whatever, right? Others will just know
Yeah.
that intuitively it's going to work. But yeah,
And
so
that's
what do you
it.
think is
Yeah.
happening with all
So
this
I think
healing?
what's going on, yeah, I think everything is intelligent in this universe, that we
Mhm,
ourselves came here at a certain point. We all chose, if we're on this planet right now, we chose to be here. I
mhm,
think there's a lot of old systems that are falling, and in order for
mhm,
something to break, it has to come to a tipping point, and
mhm,
it feels like at that tipping point in so many different ways. And I think a huge part of it is so we can learn what's true, so we can know who we are, so we can define how we want to live. And we can also remember that we can hold our own, we can hold our own frequency. We can remember to stay grounded and hopeful and inquisitive about what is the lesson here, and embody and integrate it and become better for it, and also anchors for the world, in that we're grounded and like lighthouses, these beacons of light.
mhm,
Then people start to wake up to the truth, to what's real. And I think we're really seeing in the world, in a lot of really obvious ways, illusions, things that we're now seeing were not real, were not true, were not the way they seemed.
mhm.
Whether that's politics, whether that is pop culture, whether that's people just waking up to the fact that, that isn't who I am, and I'm not saying what I want to say. There's this big
Right.
movement for authenticity
I think you're right.
and just
There is.
truth, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. There is. I think I agree.
Hmm.
So where do you do, or where do you practice what you do? Like I know you do some different sound healings, like
Hmm.
events or sound healing, and you tell us.
Sure. I currently, as you said, I'm doing my master's in counseling here
Right.
at UNB in Fredericton.
Mm-hmm.
And so while in school, I do workshops and I do sound baths, not
Mm-hmm.
as frequently as I'd love to, and I will be, but a couple times a month. And typically that is either through a group reaching out and asking for one. I do a lot of
Mm-hmm.
work with the St. Mary's First Nation community.
Okay.
I have individual clients that come to my space and we do sound healing together. So whether that's they're receiving a sound bath, or they're also learning to tune into their voice and let it out and heal themselves through that. We do that in one-on-one ways. And then in the community, just different places. I work with Wendy Kennedy quite often. She's amazing. And her space is amazing. And she's got all kinds of gorgeous instruments, sound bowls, and drums. And just it's a really good space to move around in, to dance. So different places. And not as much as I would love to be right now, but
But you're in
still
school and it's still happening.
it yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of learning happening while, but I, because of that, actually that's why I need to keep doing them, because it's so balancing for me to
Right.
offer that, to do that. I mean, I do a personal sound practice daily where
Mm-hmm.
some days it looks like 2 minutes of me checking in and seeing how I'm doing. If I need to let go of some energy, maybe I had a bad day yesterday, or maybe something I watched on TV didn't sit right and I need to let it out. Or
Right.
sometimes it's just singing the note that makes my heart happy.
Oh,
And
that's
then
so
I'm
cool.
connecting. Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
cool.
That is cool because it's like it's like yoga too, like when yoga was a craze, or it's still a craze, I guess, but a lot of people
Mm,
don't realize that it's something you feel good when you're there, but how do you take it
mm,
off the mat into real life? And I think vocal, or like what you do, or even dancing, something you can do in two
mm.
minutes and, not scream, but sing it out or
Yeah,
hum or just have a breath or whatever. There's so many things that we can do to bring us back to that grounded feeling.
absolutely.
You've got something coming up on Sunday,
What a great
February.
reminder.
Yeah, yeah. Something coming up on February
Yeah.
16th. So I'll make sure to post this before that so people can. I don't know if it's full or not. I hope you have a space for me.
Nope, we still have space. Yeah, we
Okay,
do.
perfect.
You're definitely coming.
Okay, do you want
Yeah.
to tell what that's all about?
Totally. Thanks for that. We are doing in our um intention is to just help people get aligned with their voice, help people to know
Mhm,
that they can use, just like dancing, just like yoga,
mhm.
they can use their voice in a way that's empowering, brings them peace, brings them joy, and lets it out. So many people just need to let that voice out, and it's a really powerful way to heal emotion if you're feeling blocked or stuck. Letting the
Right.
voice help is super powerful. Um, and so we're offering, Wendy and I are offering a workshop, and it's called Vocal Alchemy, which
Mm,
is what happens essentially is you start and you let out a sound, and then your energy shifts. You're transmuting your energy.
mhm.
So, yeah, it's like a recalibration through using your voice. And we're going to use different things like toning and exploring different sounds our bodies want to make. It's more a fun exploration. We're calling it a play shop versus a workshop.
I love that. Yeah.
Yay. Just to
Okay, well,
encourage that curiosity.
right. So if anyone's curious, how can they get a hold of you or find out more about this?
Awesome. Yeah. So I have a website and my email is there. It's annellensound@gmail.com. Also Facebook and Instagram. You can find me. I'm Ann
Mhm.
Ellen Sound. And yeah,
I
I
will
don't know
I
how
will
else.
post your website when I post this.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy to talk to you, Anne. It was like a really great I actually even feel more grounded now than I did when the first time we connected. So I'm really glad we
Awesome.
had that break and that we listened
Mm,
to, that
totally.
and that was, I mean, that was led by you. So thank you. No, but really it was amazing. And I'm so happy that you came and to talk to me on this podcast.
Well, Lisa, thank you. And wow, your skill in interviewing is incredible. And you're so present. And it feels like such a treat to be able to talk with someone who's listening and excited and just understands, because dance does the same. Like, we can move our energy and feel better in so many ways. It's just that some ways work better for some people. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
And
just
maybe even in some ways work better at different times. Like maybe one day you
totally.
want to dance and maybe another day you want to sing, whatever.
Yes, and at this workshop to that tune, there's
Ah,
going to be, it's movement based. We're playing. We're going to express
oh,
that emotion we feel through movement, through dance, through whatever we need to do. And yeah, it's just going to be a time to let stuff out and just get more information or learn who we are more and have more fun.
well, I love
Yeah,
that. Well, I'm going to be there. So thank you. I'll
I'm
see you
pumped.
then. I'm pumped too. And maybe we'll talk again
Yay,
someday.
I'd love
I mean,
to.
I know
Thank
we'll
you.
talk again, but
Yeah,
on this platform.
awesome.
Anything
Awesome.
else you want to add in? I don't.
Just thank you. Thank you,
Well, thank
Lisa.
you.
This was wonderful and what a great opportunity. And I really thank you for just the real space you gave for that, for me to authentically be ready. It was a part of me I thought I was ready, and a part of me was really not. And you gave me space to be with that part. And I really appreciate your patience and your understanding and your support.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you. So happy to have talked to you today.
You too.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Okay.
And I'll post about the event as well.
Oh, thank
Thanks,
you.
Anne.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it for us
Bye.
today. Thanks for listening. Souls Podcast. See you soon.